Joining me now is Sam Johnson. He is running in Texas' 3rd District in a seat that used to be Sam Johnson's. Okay, Sam, let's start there. What in the world's going on?
Well, this is home. The incumbent, he's still in the seat actually, but he's retiring. And yes, we have the same name, but I grew up in this district, and like a lot of people all around the country, I'm sick of sitting around and seeing people take it in the wrong direction. So I'm standing up like so many others to try and turn us back around.
All right. Well, you do have a unique advantage there. There won't soon be any congressman retiring with the name Cenk Uygur, so I don't think I could pull off the same trick. So let's talk about your policies then. What are the priorities that you're fighting for?
Well, like a lot of people, most voters are talking about healthcare right now. That's on everybody's mind. In my district in particular, transportation is a big issue. We're in the fastest growing county in the state of Texas. And then obviously common sense gun reforms are pretty big on everyone's mind right now also.
So let's tackle those one at a time. So when you say common sense gun reform, I'm curious how popular that is down in Texas.
It's pretty popular down here. I think what it really boils down to is everybody wants to be safe, and everybody with children wants their children to be safe. So that's a big conversation. For example, I was at a Moms Demand Action gathering a couple of weeks ago, and they actually had to split the session into 2 different sessions because they had so many people that we had this room full of parents and community members who wanted to talk about how we're going to take action to keep our communities and especially our schools safe. So even down here in Texas, it's a big issue, and it's something people are ready for movement on finally.
And let's get a little bit more specific. So when we say gun reform in Texas in your district, what does that mean?
For me and from the voters I've been talking to, we've got a couple of things. One thing everybody's very responsive to is that Congress really needs to reauthorize and refund CDC research into what's causing this epidemic. And for me, this really it's a public health and a public safety epidemic that we're facing. But there are other things obviously we need to do in the meantime while we conduct that research. I'm calling for an immediate ban on new sales of semi-automatic rifles. So we're not coming to take anything from anyone, but we need to prevent a civilian population from further acquiring these things. We also need to stop the sale of things that allow a shooter to mimic the rapid fire of an automatic weapon, such as bump stocks, such as turrets, such as high capacity clips that allow you to have a much higher rate of firing than a civilian would need.
Got you. Sam, what do you mean by expanding voting rights?
Well, really, we need to augment the Voting Rights Act in a couple of different ways. First off, we need to give it some more teeth so that we're really combating voter suppression. It's happening all over the country. It's happening here in Collin County, where my district is located. So we need to really give the law some teeth so that individuals and legislatures who are doing things to prevent people from really being able to access the ballot so that we can have consequences for them accordingly. But we also need to establish an independent commission to draw district lines so that we have voting districts that are fairly drawn, that are logically drawn. I'm sure you've seen some of the cases from districts originating in Texas where gerrymandering is just run amok. And then, finally, we need to really be looking at what we can do in Texas at the state level to protect voters from those efforts.
You mentioned healthcare. What's your proposal on healthcare?
Well, like a lot of Democrats, I do believe in getting to a Medicare for all system or a Medicare for all type system. But again, that's something that's got to be done deliberately and methodically. We have to keep in mind just the number of employees who work for even just a healthcare billing industry. So it's got to be really carefully done. But also in the meantime, we need to work on reining in health insurance companies and get back to a point where they're actually paying for the claims that people and their doctors agree are medically necessary, and get the health insurance company out of making that decision. We also need to require pharmaceutical companies to give Americans the best price that they give other countries in the world. And in business law, I'm a business attorney by day, or at least I was before I was running for office. We call that a most favored nations clause. And I think it's reasonable to expect pharmaceutical companies to give us the best price they have to give here in the market. And that would include allowing Medicare to negotiate for those prices.
Yeah, that should be a no-brainer, but there's not a lot of brains in Congress right now. There's just checkbooks. So let's talk about other Democrats. How many Democrats are running in the primary tomorrow?
There are 4 of us on my ballot for this seat.
Okay, and why should folks vote for you over the others?
I'm the most qualified to have the seat. I'm the only one who's lived in this district my entire life, other than college and law school. My work as a business attorney puts me for the last 10 years working directly with federal law and seeing how these statutes that Congress passes actually come into play in real life on a practical level. And then also outside of that, I've been an advocate in this community for all the different demographic groups that are here, even the ones that I'm not personally a part of. I do a lot with the Anti-Defamation League. So I've been to Austin, I've been to Washington, and I've already worked with legislators on fighting policy and laws that are discriminatory and that, as a result, hurt our economy and hurt the security of our community here.
You know, Sam, I just realized in the general election, having the name Sam Johnson will almost certainly help you. In the primary, it might accidentally not help you. It might go in the opposite direction. Go, Sam Johnson's a Democrat now? No, I'm gonna vote for the other guys. Are you a little worried about that?
Yes. Now, we've done a great job reaching as many voters as possible. We've been knocking on doors and making phone calls, and sending out mailers, and doing all those things. And we've been working especially hard on that because of the name issue, because there are a lot of Democrats here who have a bad taste in their mouth, but I'm hoping to sweeten that.
Okay. And finally, I wanted to ask you if you think you're the most progressive in the race among the Democrats or not.
That's a great question. I would say I'm as progressive as the other Democrats in this race. You know, we've been to so many candidate forums, and we had one kind of debate. And the issue with doing those is none of us really defer on the substance. And that's why I always come back to the experience, because I know I've got the progressive values. So for me, it's a matter of those other qualifications that make me the best one to go to November and then go to Washington.
All right, sounds good. Here, we'll put up the links here. And again, don't get confused. VoteSamJohnson.com does not go to the current incumbent Republican Sam Johnson. There it goes to the man you're looking at there. So VoteSamJohnson.com, and you got the donation and the volunteer links. And obviously, those links will be down below when you see this on YouTube or Facebook. All right, Sam Johnson. I didn't think I'd be saying this, but good luck in your race. I never thought I'd be wishing. Yeah, in that district, I never thought I'd be wishing Sam Johnson good luck. So,
well, I'm glad we could change your mind on that one too.
All right, we'll find out tomorrow too. All right, thank you.
That's right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.